What's going on, everybody? It's 6:30, 6:30-ish, my fault, Saturday, and welcome to That Fantasy Show. Right now, we don't have the loudmouth in, and I'm having visual problems. This is the last week for the preseason. We got a lot to go in. So right now, we're going to welcome to That Fantasy Show, and here we go.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to That Fantasy Show. I'm your host, Ciozi. C. Right now, I don't know what's going on with my laptop, but I'm having visual issues. Again, the loudmouth, he's on tour somewhere with his wife, so we don't know what they're doing. That must mean I got to make sure I got bail money. And first and foremost, he's been on the show so many times. We decided to make him a permanent member. We do want to welcome Mr. Ron. Welcome to the show, brother, and welcome to the family.
Thank you. It's such an honor. I am excited, and I'm just ready to get on here and talk about sports, football, and just have some fun with it.
Absolutely. So let's get with some of the actual issues that's going on. First and foremost, I gotta bring this up because it made me the happiest dude on this earth right now. The Commanders got an agreement with Terry McLaurin.
What?
So they did agree to an extension. If I'm correct, Adam Schefter reported it. We don't know if it's guaranteed. We don't know if this is facts. It was on Facebook. I tried to do some research on it, but it is stated from Adam Sheffield's report that he did agree to a $177 million extension, 75 guaranteed.
Wow.
Now I'm assuming with that's why they did the trade for Brian Robinson to kind of extend, so they'll probably add some more cushion to that trade. Because all they got, that's the one thing I also want to get on, is that Brian Robinson was traded to the 49ers. He got traded for a draft pick. So because of that, I'm assuming that opened up a little bit more capital cash for them to kind of get that extension out the way. Another trade that went through this week, the Eagles traded for John Mechie.
Yeah.
So now you look at this, you have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, John Dodson, and now you have John Mechie on this wide receiver core. Yo, I'm fantasy wise, I'm picking up Jalen Hurts or Saquon Barkley because I'm gonna tell you this: with you having so many wide receivers to spread out, something's going to happen. Either Saquon's going to run a lot, or Jalen Hurts is going to have a hell of a game.
Yes, sir.
He's got weapons to throw. He has weapons to throw it to.
Yes,
it's
kind
of like your poison.
Matter of fact, I'm signing up to the fantasy league. That the information you gave me not too long ago. I'm gonna do that when we get off the show tonight, this evening. But on my first fantasy league I'm in, it's name of it, we're all in, but it's the ESPN fantasy league. On my team, I have Jalen Hurts as my quarterback. I have both of the wide receivers, Brown and Devontae. What's his last name?
Devontae Smith.
Devontae Smith. I got both of those. So I'm thinking because both of them pretty much was 1,000-yard receivers last year.
Yeah, you got Batman and Robin, and then you got two more people. And these are all first rounders. That's the scary thing. Well, John Mechie, he would have been a first rounder, but he got that injury. Yep. Then once he got that injury, he ended up catching leukemia. I guess it was a leukemia or something like that.
Yeah,
he beat that put him out. But he, like I said, right now he's in a whole new field.
Yeah.
So that's definitely, like I said, that was one of my questions with this trade. with this, does this make Philly more of a balanced offense because you got your air attack and you got your ground attack?
I think it makes Philly, to me, let's be honest, it makes Philly even more dangerous. And actually, everybody know John Mechie coming out of Alabama. Man, he was really hurting folks. Like he
Yeah.
couldn't, like even 1-on-1, like you was crazy. Even sometimes 2-on-1, you couldn't hold that dude.
And like I said, if it goes the way that's another weapon for Jalen Hurts.
Right, and they all from Alabama too. Him and Smith played together. And a matter of fact, and I think he played with Hurts too as well.
Yeah. Now, one of the preseason games I definitely want to talk about was the Bills and Bears, and Caleb Williams looked pretty impressive.
Yes.
Even the next game, the next game against the Chiefs, they won that one, but the coach was pretty much saying that, okay, you know what, it wasn't at his best. So with Caleb Williams, we all knew the type of game that how can I put it? We see the actual potential he can bring. We've seen how he is, how he was in USC, and we seen last year a few games to where he showed his brilliance, and we actually kind of blamed the coaching on his performance. Yes. Now that you have a coach that actually is from a winning culture, one,
right?
Two, you pretty much changed all the actual dynamics with the Chicago Bears. You're basically changing that actual, however you want to put it. Do you see Caleb Williams being that quarterback that we all considered, or do you still think he needs a year or two?
I think Caleb has the potential to be a great quarterback. Not elite now, because I think he still need about a good year to get that where he feel like the offense and the game is slowing down to him.
Mm-hmm.
I think year 3 will probably be his year, but I'm hoping that the weapons that he have around him will catch on to the game too, where the game will slow down as well. I mean, he has a pretty good passing attack, and he has a pretty good running back with Swift, DeAndre Swift, and he actually has a pretty good tight end that they drafted in the draft. The boy from Michigan, I think his name is Loveland. Yeah. So they're expecting a lot out of this tight end, and they're rookies.
Well, I definitely say, because when he came into the draft.
So, folks, for those who were
yeah, I'm back. Well, me and this computer have problems. Me and a few words. But I definitely say with Caleb Williams, he definitely he was provided with weapons.
Yes.
So I think a lot of people looked at him and felt as though he should have been. I think, what's the word I want to say? I think they had too much expectations for him for what he had in his learning curve.
Yes.
I do feel as though this year I think he can actually be comeback player of the year if everything is done right. Do you feel as though that fantasy wise, do you feel as though he's a quarterback that you're starting, or is it somebody you're pretty much going to keep in the bench just to see how he turns out? Maybe he might be good for a bye week.
I would say right now the least is maybe a bench player. I don't even have him on my team on the first fantasy league. I guess when I signed up for the other fantasy league, I guess when are we drafting in that league?
It'll be next week. It'll be this Wednesday.
Okay, this Wednesday. Cool. Caleb is still dangerous though, because he's dual. He can run and he can throw. I just hope the game slows down for him. To be honest, I can't stand it, and that's the nature of the beast. I can't stand it when good players go to, I don't want to call no team sorry, but unproductive teams. And it's almost like first draft choice this year, Cam Ward, and went to Tennessee Titans. I really didn't want him going there, but you got to start somewhere. To get better, you got to draft those better players.
Right. But even with Cam Ward, I to be honestly, they didn't. And I do say this a lot. Where if you're getting quarterbacks, at least get him a go-to weapon.
Yes.
And I will admit that they do have go-to weapons. I mean, you still have Calvin Ridley there. They also signed Tyler Lockett.
Yep.
I'm pretty impressed because Julius Chestnut, he's been kind of making some runs to move up the roster. Yes. We talked to him. He's actually like a featured guest with First String Podcast. So we've actually discussed, talked with him and things like that. So if he's listening, I hope good things happen for you, brother. Especially that it's pretty much your show out there in Tennessee. So we definitely will hope that you actually make us proud out there in the DMV because I think he went to friendly.
Okay.
Next thing I definitely want to bring up is the Browns. Ooh. Now, first things first, the Browns are 3-0 in preseason. That doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, right?
But to win 3 games under 3 different quarterbacks is impressive.
It really is.
Now we've already been told that Flacco will be the starter. He played today, played pretty decent. Now, I definitely want to discuss Gabriel's quote. There's entertainers and there's competition.
Yes.
So, do you feel as though that was something that was everybody's saying that was a shot at Shador? I don't think it was a shot at Shador. I think it was a shot more of the press.
I'm going to say he wasn't throwing shade. Out of anything, I think it was going to be motivation for Shador. Shador is just going to, just use that as fuel to do what he has to do. And to be honest, he's already shown it before the injury. I mean, the young man was really looking unstoppable out there. He's making his checks. He's checking left, checking his right, throwing the ball. And he was actually spreading the ball pretty good to the wide receivers, to the tight end, to the running backs. And I mean, he looked very comfortable, and it looked like he's been doing it for a while. Only when to be a rookie, look that comfortable.
Now, and the thing that this quarterback room, like I said, the QBs are all making noise. Mm-hmm. The only ones that you haven't really heard from is probably Kenny Pickett and Deshaun Watson.
Right.
Also, Deshaun Watson got married. Congratulations, Deshaun.
So
that's just you out the massage parlors. You got a wife to do that for you now.
Right. So we shouldn't hear no more female problems from
But to say so he should not be asking anything about massage parlors. You got a wife now.
Exactly.
But I'll probably say that is probably the most. I'll probably say that I can see probably Kenny Pickett going either to the practice. Either it's going to be I think Gabriel will probably be in the practice squad. Mm-hmm. I think they'll probably take Shador, move him number 2. Mm-hmm. Pickett will be 3. Or they might make Pickett the emergency quarterback and pick him on the practice squad, and then put what's he calling? I forgot his name. Gabriel as the 3rd string.
So what about Huntley?
I think they're gonna get rid of Huntley. I think that's why they let him play today, because I think that either he's probably going to be. Well, they're saying that one of them is going to be on IR. Mm. Or they can put somebody in IR and you still have because technically you have what 5? You have 5 quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's a lot of quarterbacks.
And I think they might be looking towards. I can see somebody getting that trade, and depends on how bad that team performs. Mm. Quiet is kept, and this is me. I wouldn't knock San Francisco looking at Deshaun Watson.
Ooh.
Granted, I understand you got Brock Purdy, you got him in that deal, but I kind of feel as though with the weapons that they have, and we'll discuss the 49ers and their trades a little bit later on, but I do feel as though that if Purdy doesn't really become the person that they want, I think that like I said, I can see Deshaun Watson getting that offer.
I think Cleveland is really kind of fed up with Deshaun Watson. I mean, they've been patient with him 2 years in a row. And, and you can't put that on that young man. Injury is an injury. But
Yeah.
I really think if he does, I'm not going to even say that. I think he has really ran his course with Cleveland. Even when he comes back healthy, I think he's not the future no more for Cleveland, even though Cleveland gave him $230 million. That's a lot. That's a lot to put in one man's pocket.
Yeah, look, I wish it was in my pocket. I ain't gonna lie.
Never lying.
I'm still looking at it like, man, it's a lot of money, but I would love for it to be my money.
Exactly. And I was pretty kind of shocked, the Commanders trading Brian Robertson, because I felt like that was really your best number one running back. But you still got Eckler. Mm-hmm. And then I'm hearing about this rookie that's coming up. I forgot his name, but I know it's hyphenated. And I guess
he likes to go by the name Bill.
Bill. Okay. And I guess he's doing very well in the preseason. So I'm guessing they're not really worried about the running game to trade Robertson. But I'm kind of happy for Robertson because it's a fresh new start for him.
It is. And you know what? I'm going to go and get to the 49ers now, especially from the trades that they made. They picked up Brian Robinson off a trade, and then they also picked up Sky Moore. Now, we understand that the 49ers are having wide receiver problems. Mm-hmm. There's still some wide receivers out there in the market. But I definitely, when I look at Sky Moore, especially with him being with the Chiefs, he didn't have that, again, it's a fresh beginning. But do you see the Sky Moore could be in a potential threat? Well, I'm not going to say a threat. I'm going to say pretty much, would he be a potential asset to the 49ers? Because right now, for some reason with the 49ers, when it comes to wide receivers, they can find diamonds in the rough.
They really can.
Do you feel as though Sky Moore will be that diamond in the rough this season that they found?
I think they could have a nasty three-headed monster if they keep Juan Jennings with Ricky Purcell and then add Sky Moore in the mix. I think they would have a nice little, nasty little monster. Then you still got Kittles, and then you got you don't have Jordan Mason anymore, but you still got, Christian McCaffrey. I don't know who's the backup running back. I think it's that dude number 31, but I forgot his name.
I'm about to say for quarterback, I don't know, but for running back, you got Brian Robinson now.
Yeah, you got Brian Robertson now. So now he'll be probably coming in as running back number 2 to give Christian McCaffrey a little hand. And actually, that could be a nice little dynamic duo, McCaffrey and Robertson.
A nice ground and pound because, McCaffrey, he's a runner. I mean, he's just there running, but he reminds me more of a Brian Westbrook kind.
Yes.
Because he was that weapon to where he can run the ball, but you kind of used him more as a receiver.
Right.
So when I look at to actually have a pure running back in Brian Robinson and have that multi-weapon in Christian McCaffrey to where I could either have him as a running back or I can line him up as a receiver in the slot, and it is definitely going to add more plays. Yeah. Then you also got to look at they're getting Brandon Ayuk, who's going to be back, probably in week 6.
Yes.
So by that time, hopefully if everything gels up, San Francisco might be fantasy gold.
Yeah, and I think Brandon Ayuk, if he can get back to where he used to be, he can actually possibly be wide receiver number 1 for San Francisco. Just hopefully and pray to God he stay healthy. And then going back to the running back aspect, I feel I can see with Robertson coming in the mix, they could actually do what Detroit is doing right now, where they got to call the dynamic duo, what they call it, Sonic and Knuckles. When you got Gibbs and Montgomery, I mean, you can have Christian McCaffrey as Sonic, and you can have Robinson as Knuckles. I can clearly see them doing that same type of concept up in Detroit with those two.
I definitely said that. I definitely see them looking at a 1-2 punch.
And the reason why I say that is because Christian McCaffrey didn't get hurt, last year a lot or 2 years ago. But he's been that catalyst. He's been that person that they run him to the ground. Yes, that's what I was meaning to say. And just to keep his legs fresh, balance it out with Robertson. Then give McCaffrey a break, and then put Robertson in there, so his legs can always stay fresh, and then vice versa. But McCaffrey back in and let Robertson stay fresh.
Definitely. Now, one more thing I want to bring up is Daniel Jones being named starter for the Colts. Two things on this. Again, for it's a fresh shot, do you think Daniel Jones can have that Sam Darnold effect? Because I'm not gonna lie, him playing with the Giants, you had no line, you had no running back, and then your last year, you have a weapon, but you're hurt you were hurt most of the time.
Well, he did. Yeah. Well, he did have Saquon Barkley there in New York for like what, 2 years?
But Barkley was always hurt.
Well, that's okay. Yeah, you're right about that.
So the last 2 years, those 2 years he was there, Barkley had the ACL. He had the ACL injury,
right?
And then I think the second year was more like he was on and off injuries, like hamstring. He would be missing a few games.
Gotcha.
So you really didn't get a chance. And at the top of that, you also had Darren Waller coming from the Raiders in there, and it was just like, man, okay, you have weapons, but then you don't have weapons, and you have no feature backs.
Right.
Now you have that. You have the running game in Jonathan Taylor. You have weapons in Josh Downs, Michael Pittman,
Dante Mitchell.
Yeah, and then on top of it, you also picked up the rookie
tight
end.
Yes.
So now you have him. Yep. So I think that we're going to see I think we're going to see a different Daniel Jones than what we've seen with the Giants.
Yes.
And that's why I'm kind of telling him, like, he might be that sneaky QB that you might want to grab. I'm not saying grab him in the draft. Wait a few games, pick him up in free agency. So that way you ain't trade nobody. Or if you have that second to last pick to where you got all your weapons, go ahead and grab him as that last weapon, as that last pick.
Exactly.
So that's one of those. It's like I can see that happening. I can also see him being comeback player of the year if everything falls in, because I'm like, the weapons you have, you see what he did with, you see what Flacco did with them when they were there.
Right. He was balling.
Yeah. So I think with you having that same experience, because we talked about this last week about quarterbacks not having enough games, and him spending 4 years at Duke playing every game, and now you're with the Giants, and you were actually handpicked by Eli Manning. So when the Mannings give you that actual go ahead to actually be the next person for the Giants, that's saying a lot.
It is. Man, it's funny too, because I got a homeboy. He lives up in Toledo. He used to live here in Columbus, but he's a diehard Indianapolis Colts fan. And when I sent him a screenshot showing that Daniel Jones is going to be QB1, man, he was upset, because I said, Richardson's time in Indianapolis may be over.
I don't want to. Yeah, it may be over. I think he probably, and I wouldn't knock it to where into somewhere throughout the season, if Daniel Jones does good, that they trade him. And right now, I probably say we're looking at a lot of quarterbacks that needs to be developed.
Yes.
And with Richardson, it was based off. What's the word I want to say? He was based off his raw talent, the same way Jamarcus Russell was. When you seen Jamarcus Russell, you seen him. He had pure talent. He didn't have the IQ, the intelligence, and he didn't have the work ethic. You just saw the raw talent.
Right.
And Anthony Richardson, he had a few good games when he played for Florida, and they caught their eye because he started picking up at the last of the season, which started catching everybody's eye. Then he started performing in the combine, which really caught a lot of people's eye, and that's why they picked him. Why the Colts picked him up. And from there, it's just he had that one good year to where he was starting to actually break out. Then he got injured, and then when he came back, everybody knows the fatigue call. So he's having a helmet, talking about he needs to be back in, and it's kind of like you have other quarterbacks that have actually surpassed you, bruh. I'm like, well, we got to bring Joe Flacco in. Granted, Flacco is a different monster. I keep telling people, Flacco is a Super Bowl winning MVP.
Yes.
So he has experience. So I can understand that we can't really compare that. But the thing is that when you're younger, you should be taking notes, especially with somebody like Joe Flacco in your presence. And if you're not taking notes and you're still playing like you still in grade school, you haven't moved up in your game yet, there's a problem.
It is. And I mean, Joe Flacco's been in the league for so long now. I mean, because you got here, Joe Flacco, he has what, one Super Bowl ring?
Yeah.
So that right there is experience by itself. And I mean, everybody on that Cleveland Brown team should be trying to study and get all type of information and jewels from Joe Flacco.
I'll be getting on his nerves.
On his nerves.
He probably had me blocked on Facebook, Instagram, and his phone.
I'll be asking questions every single time I get a chance.
I'll be like that. I'll be like that ugly girl that like you, that constantly thinks she got a chance. She's sitting next to you in class. Hi, Joe. How you doing? So what you think about this going on? What about you think about this play? What would you do on this play? Man, I'll be getting on his nerves.
And I think so. And I think Daniel Jones is really in a good spot because he can mess around and be Sam Darnold. Look what Sam Darnold did in Minnesota. And then And then, they got the future, which is J.J. McCaffrey from Michigan. So Sam Darnold leaves and gets picked up by Seattle and gets what? $100 million contract to be the starting quarterback.
Probably the biggest thing with Sam Darnold was he got his confidence back.
Yes.
Because when you start out, you with the Jets didn't give you any weapons. And then you go to Carolina. I mean, they had a few weapons, but it was kind of like Carolina, he did decent, but I think with Carolina it was more, again, it might have been the organization or something like that, because you still had DJ Moore. Then they got rid of DJ Moore, sent him to Chicago. So he says Christian McCaffrey. He don't really have anybody. So it was kind of like he got raw dog. He goes to San Francisco. He has a few good games. And then once he signed with Minnesota, it was like we're seeing a whole new Sam Darnold. It was like, oh, where did this? We haven't seen this Sam Darnold since he was in college.
Right, his energy level went back up. Like you said, he got his confidence back.
Yeah,
and now he's in Seattle. I mean, and he really got weapons in Seattle. You got Smith and Jigba. You got Cooper Kupp, and then you got the rookie wide receiver that you keep talking about, last name Horton. Horton. Which I think is probably going to end up being wide receiver number 3. But I will tell you the truth, the young man is playing so smooth. I feel like he gunning for a Cooper's Kupp position, the wide receiver too.
I can definitely see that, and he probably will somewhere throughout the season. We already know it's going to be Jackson Smith and Jigba's team, and then I can definitely see him being the number 2. And with Cooper Kupp is still going to be that Cooper Kupp, but he's not going to be as. I think he still might keep his. He might still keep his decoy. So I wouldn't take anything away from Coop towards that end. I definitely feel as though he might be one of those wide receivers that he might sneak up on you, have a few good games.
Yes.
Would I draft him?
Yeah, he's 32 now, so he's up there in age. He's a veteran now.
Yeah. So would I draft him? I will pick up a free agency. That'll be a free agency pickup once I see something I get an injury or something, or I need a bye week. Yeah, I'm picking up Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, I had him in my ESPN league, but I actually dropped him because I'm thinking like he definitely still has the hands, but does he have that that speed? I mean, he's never been really a speed demon. He's always been a route runner.
Yeah.
Which
he's one of those route runners to where, and I really feel as though it's the decoy effect because they're guarding the best weapons out there. He's out there, he runs his route, and he can be seen, and nobody's paying attention to it because they're so busy either with this wide receiver and that wide receiver to where he just runs his slots and it's like he's wide open.
And I think with Smith and Jigba on the one side and Cooper Kupp on the other side, I think defense is just going to forget about Horton, and I think Horton is going to actually have a heck of a year. Watch.
Oh yeah, I really feel Horton might be that one to like I said, from what I've seen in preseason, he's going to open some eyes.
Yeah, he's going to be
on top of that,
X factor.
And you still have the running game with Kenneth Walker.
Yes.
You still got Kenneth Walker there, and I forgot the backup. And
I think it's I think was it Chardonnay or something like that. Chardonnay.
Yeah. And Chardonnay is still in there too.
So, and he's a tough runner. Chardonnay, he's a tough runner.
Oh yeah, and what scares me is that with that is that Seattle has a lot of secret weapons that people aren't really looking at. So so they're definitely going to be one to look into.
Right.
Now I do want to so with fantasy football. Well, right now it is draft season. It is draft week. I call this draft week. So, what I do want to bring up is, what was your worst draft pick?
Yeah, see, I've been in this ESPN league now for 6 years. I'll probably say the player that was probably my worst draft pick was probably picking up. That's a good one. Probably when I picked up the it was actually picking up. Let's see, what's his name? I picked up. Was it Jalen Waddle? It was like 1 year. He didn't really do much.
That must have been his rookie year.
I think it was. It was like a while back. And I'm like, come on, Waddle, man. You ain't even picking up no type of points for me.
Man. So mine was.
I had to let him go.
So mine was Mitchell Trubisky.
Oh, okay.
This is when he drafted, and I'm not gonna lie, this is why I always tell people, think with your head, not with your heart.
Exactly.
Now, I am a Tar Heel fan for life. Mitch was one of those. I thought Mitch would actually be a better quarterback than what he is now. At the time, they had just drafted him, and they also picked up Calvin Ridley's brother. So I'm looking at that. Okay, you got Mitchell Trubisky. You had the running back that was it. It was the small running back. I want to say his name was Caleb something. I forgot his last name, but he was balling. And I'm like, well, you got him. You got Calvin Ridley's brother, who again playing for Alabama, and he was doing the damn thing in Alabama. I'm like, yo, this might be one of those sneakers. So I drafted him, drafted the brother. I had like the Chicago squad. Yeah. I will never, yeah, that's not to this day I do my research and I'm like, okay, yeah, let me look at this one again.
Yeah, now I strategize when I pick a player because quarterbacks and it's kind of I break stuff down in steps, but I break them down in simple stuff. When I'm picking a quarterback, I'm thinking like I need my quarterback just to have more than just one main guy. You know, everybody got their favorite target, which is usually wide receiver one. But I want my quarterback to have a plethora of wide receivers to throw it to. You know, whether it's 3, 4, tight end, he can even dump it out to the running back. And then my running backs, I pick my running backs based off how good the air attack is, because if they got an air attack, the passing game just opens up the running game.
Okay. Now, next question. What was your best draft pick?
Prior to say picking up last year, Devontae Adams. Man, I had a couple of 40-point games with him last year.
Mine, I have 3.
Okay.
My first year I did fantasy football. Now, it wasn't my first year. I'll probably say a few years in. I picked up Odell Beckham as a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
I watched him in preseason. I seen how he was catching. I'm like, okay, yeah, he might do something. And once I see Victor Cruz get hurt, I had already had him on my squad, and I even recommended somebody on at work. Okay, well, she was like, because it was her first time, and she was like, I don't really know who I got on my team. Everybody sucks. I said, do me a favor, look on your league and see if you got Odell Beckham. She's like, who? I said, Odell Beckham. Huh? So I said, look. So I pulled up a phone, and then I said, okay, pick up that guy. So's not playing anymore, so he's going to be the leading starter. And that was the game he played the Cowboys. She picked him up.
Is that the one where he did the famous catch?
Yeah, the 3-finger catch.
Mm-hmm.
She won that league because of him.
Wow.
Now, me, like I said, that was the one. That was one. Another one, Patrick Mahomes. I got him his second win because the rookie didn't play. And when I drafted him, I was like, well, he still has weapons. And I picked him up as a bye to cover a bye week. That was my original thing. I'm like, he's not going to do bad because you have Travis Kelce. I'm looking at all the weapons they got. I'm like, he'll give me a 20-point game. Man, that fool was dropping 40 games like he was Jordan.
Oh, you know
I was loving life, and I still have him to this day. I'm like, man.
Yeah, actually, I got more than one too. Now I think about it. What was your third one?
Third one, Terry McLaurin.
Okay.
When I picked him up again, I picked him up on the bench for my bench, and first game I had him play, he dropped me 40. So he stayed consistent with 40 points for a few games. Now they barely giving him the ball. But yeah, that's it. I didn't think with my heart. Again, I was like, okay, I put him on my bench because I heard about him. I seen how he was playing. Like, you know what? He's one I'm gonna put on my bench in case one of my wide receivers. I'll probably use him more as a flex. And I think something happened with one of my players, so I put him on. First game with the Eagles, he got me those points. I'm like, I think I'm going to keep him as a flex. And after that, he would be my wide receiver one. Got rid of Odell Beckham. Then the next question I had for fantasy discussion, and I think we was just talking about this. So what are you looking for? What do you look for in your first pick?
My first pick, I'm usually going. My first two picks are either my first pick. I'm either going with a quarterback or a running back because I just feel like there are a lot of good wide receivers out there, but there's not so many good running backs anymore.
Yeah,
So if you can get you a good running back with that first or second pick, definitely jump on that. So I like to say my best picks was Devontae Adams, and then back in 2021 when I had Cooper Kupp. That's that year when Cooper Kupp won all three. I think he got the most yards, the most receiving, and he got the most touchdowns. So I think it was like the triple count he won it back in 21.
Yeah,
he did good. And then the other viable player that I think that was one of my best was Bijan Robertson.
Now, do you feel as though out of the wide receiver tier, I meant to bring that up. So here's the top wide receiver tiers that they have. Number one, Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley. Tier two is Devon Achane, Ashton Genty, Derrick Henry. Third tier, Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs, Bucky Irvin, Kyron Williams, and Chase Brown. Now, out of the 1, 2, and 3 lists, would you move anybody up, and would you move anybody down?
I will move Bucky Irving up. That dude is a low-key killer, man. Not only that dude can run, but he can catch. But his vision is something nasty, man. He should definitely. I probably would put him in tier 1 because Bucky Irving, man, he showed me a lot last year during the season. Like he can really hold the load. He can really put the load on his back.
I'll probably say this. Me, I'm moving Jonathan Taylor to tier 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dropping Devon Achane to tier 3 because as much as people talk about the promise that he had and when he had that 1 year,
Yeah.
he's been injured so much.
Right.
I'll move him to a tier 3. Ashton Genty, I'm moving to tier 3 because I don't know about. You had one hell of a truck still. Other than that, everything's all potential.
You did. And then with Ashton Genty, I mean, you did your thing in college, but bro, this is pros. It gets only fast. It only gets faster in the pros because now you got the best of the best.
Yeah. Now, do you feel as though Bijan Robinson is the top running back, or do you still feel Saquon Barkley still has that title?
I put Barkley 1A and Barkley 1A and Robertson 1B. It's close.
Okay.
It's close. And the only reason why eventually Robinson is going to get it because he's younger than Barkley. But right now I would say number 1 is still Barkley though.
Okay. Yeah. I'm kind of feeling that because I was about to say my next question is, so if you had the chance, if you're the number 1 pick, are you picking Bijan Robinson or Saquon Barkley?
I'm gonna go with Barkley, man, because their air attack is better than the Falcons. And then
I
on
would say
top
with
of
the
that,
Falcons, yeah. But I'll probably say in order for the Falcons to really, I would say in order for Bijan, if he really excels, it's gonna be based off Kyle Pitts. Because you need that. If they're going to use Kyle Pitts, they need him like they need him like a Travis Kelce.
They do.
Where he is like, I need a middle. I don't need no long distance catches. I need 5 to 6 to 3 yard catches from you.
Exactly.
I need you to be a tight end. I don't need those no exotic far 20-yard plays. I need you catching the ball in the middle. Right.
Anywhere from 5 to 10 yards.
Yeah. If you can do that, Kyle Pitts is going to be a weapon. You still have Drake London. You still got Paul Mooney. And on top of that, it gives you a chance to spread the field. So once you spread that field and you have that and you can use that play action for that, Bijan is going to be a beast. But I feel as though they need to find that out first. If they find that out first to where he's a weapon, to where they can use Kyle Pitts in the middle of the field instead of trying to have him exotic, long range like a wide receiver, I feel as though that would be the best mark for him.
I think the best targeting area for Kyle Pitts is in that middle, like you just said, right behind the linebackers, but right in front of the safety. You can get him open right in that little cushion because it's not small. Yeah, it's not small, but it's not big. But if you can get him between the linebackers and the safety, he can really eat. He can start cooking right there in that little area. He don't have to be trying to. He's 6'5", 6'6". Stop trying to make him a wide receiver. Make him a tight end.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He has the, and that's what kills me. Like, yo, he has the size to be that middle of the field person you need.
Mm-hmm.
So play it. Stop trying to do this exotic, because he can be like he's like a wide receiver. No, treat him like a tight end.
Exactly.
Let him make those short catches. You don't need to have if he has to buy it to keep moving, then he'll keep moving. But other than that, use him wisely because that's what I don't see. And then they're looking at him like, well, we don't know what we're going to do with him because y'all not making it easy for him. Y'all want to just throw these. Yeah.
You're not making it easy for him at all. And then on top of that, I got a good feeling that it's going to change for him this year just because of the change of quarterbacks. I think Michael Penix is a new breath fresh air. Fresher breath air. Can't never say that quote right, but I think he's going to be something new, something electric. I mean, and you got a piece of him last year. Like I think you saw him the last 3 games last year, and he exploded on the scene. So this year, you're going to have a full season with Penix.
I'm not going to lie. Me being a Commanders fan, I circled that event for my fantasy because I know that's going to be I'm I'm gonna say a barn burner. That's going to if you have people on that team for your fantasy, you're getting points in that game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you got the quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, you're going to get points on whoever's team that is. I think that's probably going to be one of the actual matchups. If they're smart, hopefully that's a Sunday night game. So I can actually sit there like a fat cat and watch my game and root my Commanders on while I'm winning on fantasy. So
I ain't gonna lie though. I was hoping Scary Terry was coming to Pittsburgh, but I'm happy to see he get his bag though.
Hey man, look, y'all can't have all the weapons. Y'all already got DK Metcalf. Y'all got Megatron Jr., aka Starscream, as I call him.
I like that one. I like it. Mega Starscream, right? Because
I'm like, you already got me. You're like, look, you got Megatron Jr., so you already got Starscream. Look, come on now.
Exactly.
I go like when I see how Terry was playing, I was calling him Optimus Prime. Everybody like, I'm like, dude, he reminds me of Optimus Prime. He got that leadership. He'll take one for the team. That's not the second, but everybody's like, no, Scary Terry. I'm like, no, Optimus Prime. Call him. He wearing red. He a leader.
And they should have been paid. They should have been gave that man a new contract. Scary Terry. What the last 5 years he didn't gave you 1,000 yards?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is now Dallas has got to try to get their play together, and I don't know. I would love for him if they can find a way to sneak that in to get him Parsons to the Commanders. I know it won't happen, but I would probably say if it does, think about it. He's reunited with his defensive coordinator. Even though he's the head coach now, that was his defensive coordinator that made him into a star. I will say he made him into Michael Parsons to a star.
Mm-hmm.
So I think with him having, if that was there, then on top of that, you have Von Miller too. We got Von Miller and Bobby Wagner teaching him. Ooh, could you imagine that boy?
Man,
that'd be dangerous.
I would if y'all pick up Micah Parsons, I'm gonna drop the sorriest player on my ESPN lead and pick up Washington's defense.
I don't know if it's going to happen, but if it does, I'm sitting here like, yo, that will be. I can't see it happening, but if it does, that will be amazing.
And I'm not hating on Dallas, but I don't want Michael Parsons playing for Dallas. I want him playing for somebody else. I ain't gonna lie, I can't stand the Dallas Cowboys. I think every Pittsburgh Steelers fan, the main two teams we can't stand is the Browns and the Cowboys.
I can understand that. Me being from DC is funny because it's like for us being in DC, you would think everybody would be a strong Commanders fan, but no, you got them Cowboy fans in DC too. It's like, wait a minute, wait. How you a Cowboy fan?
Right.
They was winning and they did this. We was a Cowboy fan back in the day. I'm like, okay, if you was a Cowboy fan back in the day, okay. Now, my stepfather was a Cowboy fan.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother would do like some of the meanest punishments to me. So I think one year she bought him like a whole bunch of Cowboy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the one wrapping the gifts.
Mm.
Everything Cowboy. I'm wrapping the bar. He got a little Cowboy locker, Cowboy race car, Cowboy this, Cowboy. And I'm sitting here wrapping all these Cowboy gifts. I'm like, Mom, what I do for this punishment? Her response, you see your report card? Never mind. Let me go finish wrapping these gifts.
So, okay, I get it.
But I will probably say, I don't know how my mom did it. But, and shout out to Mom, shout out to you for doing this because you was doing things that females. So what my mother would do, what she found this. Now, Jimmy Johnson at the time was the coach. Now, I don't know what he had. I don't know what contract he had with Avarex.
Mm-hmm.
But the jackets that he was wearing for the Cowboys would not be added to, would not be introduced to the public to the following year. So the jackets that he was wearing, they were not in market.
Wow.
for somewhere, my mother found a connection, and she was able to get the actual jacket. He was he was a big Cowboy fan. So the year that they won the Super Bowl, he was wearing the actual same jacket, the Average jackets that Jimmy Johnson was wearing. He was wearing those same jackets. They had not been released to the public yet.
Wow.
So he's walking around with the new Jimmy Johnson Dallas Cowboy jacket before anybody else.
Wow.
So I don't know how she found it or how she pulled that off, but Ma, kudos to you for that. Like I said, he was a happy Cowboy fan. And all his friends sitting there like, man, where you like? Wait. He'd be like, yeah, this the one Jimmy. Just look, you look at that one. That's the one Jimmy be wearing. And they ain't released these yet. They don't release this to the next year. She was able to get it before it actually hit the markets.
Man, what I get tired of is all these Dallas Cowboy fans coming out with these, with these videos and posts. How am I like this gonna be our year again? This is our year.
They hate me because I find the means to where the Dallas Cowboys starter kit. It be like a pair of Jordans, jeans, shorts,
and I'll be telling them like, yo, if y'all lose Michael Parsons, it's not gonna be your year, because really, it's two dudes on that defense that impressed me. Michael Parsons, number 11, and another guy that plays on defense. His jersey number is 13. I want to say his last name is Overshaw or something like that. He's nasty. 13 for Dallas.
I'll say this: when they had that good year, you had Skylar Diggs, and then you also had Deron Bland. So you had you had probably one of the best wide receiver duos that year with Michael Parsons. You still have Skylar Diggs, which is called his brother.
Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, Stephon. Yeah, that's Stephon Diggs' brother.
Yeah, Travion Diggs. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's still with the Cowboys. I think he's there. Like I said, if they still keep them together, you still have a centerpiece. Like I said, the only thing I think that's really gonna help the Cowboys is Dak. Dak has to be healthy.
Now, let me ask you this, since you brought up Dak. If Dak does not get these boys into the playoffs with this new weapon that he got to go with CeeDee Lamb, will you see Dak Prescott in the Dallas Cowboy jersey for the 26-27 season year?
No, I see him in New Orleans.
You see him in New Orleans?
I'm gonna call it right the bat. I see him in New Orleans.
I think, yeah, I agree with you. If Dallas do not make it to the playoffs, if they do make it to the playoffs, I think his job may be safe. If they do not make it to the playoffs, yeah, I think Dak is gone.
Because you just paid him all this money to be the top scoring quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny because when he did it, he was against the Browns. And at the time, Deshaun Watson was the highest paid quarterback in the league. So I think he got him like for $2 million more, and then he scorched his ass.
And then he got hurt. Uh-oh. So, folks, for those who, okay, he's back.
Yeah, for some reason, every time I try to put the camera on, that's when everything wants to like shut down. Like, nope. So I'm trying to figure out. I was trying to see if I could sneak it in while I could, but. But okay, yeah. So then my next question: what do you feel is the best draft order, and what's the worst draft order? If you had a chance to get to put yourself in any draft position, and I'll let you know what your draft position is for this.
Yes. Depending on how many players, depending on how many people's in the league. So like, in my ESPN league, it's 8 of us. So when I asked my boy what number was I picking in, he said I was number 7. But then when it was time for us to draft, which was back in July, I was actually we draft early for the ESPN draft.
Ooh.
Yeah, you draft like early back in July. It was like end of July. I came in.
Y'all couldn't even go to B-Dubs get the draft kit.
Yeah. I came in at number 4. So like each round, I was either 4 or 5. So I was like right there in the middle. So which was good to me. But if I had to say, depending on how many people was in the team, on the lead, if it's 5, you really don't want to be number 5. I'll say if you can be top 3, that'll be good, because then you can really zone in on getting your picks.
Me, I would probably say it's either first or last. Okay. Because if it's no matter if it's 12 man or 8 man, I look at if you're first or last for the simple fact you get double picks.
Yeah, because last does get double picks.
And they do, like I said, if it's fall under snake draft, then you get double picks. I would probably say other than that, I like to be in the middle, like 6 or 5, like 6 or 5 or 6, for the simple fact that I know I won't have two. I won't have it's consistent. I don't have to worry about waiting all this time for another one, because I know I'm just going to be in the middle of the pack.
Gotcha.
Now, it was also, and this is from NFL NFL Fantasy. I didn't know they had so many type of draft leagues.
Yeah.
One of my buddies told me about a zombie league. Another one's telling me about a gauntlet league. And I'm like, the zombie league was pretty crazy. Wow. So with the zombie league, what they do, if you lose, they take one of your players.
Oh, wow.
So it's a person to where, well, you have one, and you have one team that's a zombie team. So if you play that zombie team and you lose, they take one of your players.
Oh, man. So you can end up losing a key player then.
Yeah. Now, another one they was telling me is about this. They did is a gauntlet league, and they was talking about this on NFL Fantasy. And what they said is that what they do, you don't pick your players, you pick the team. So it's basically 31 players, 31 people, and you all pick a team. So you're picking. So you might pick Pittsburgh. I might pick Washington. Somebody might pick Cleveland. So when you play that team, when you lose, again, it's kind of like the zombie league, but you can take a person from that team. So you can basically have your own all Madden team if you do it right.
That's interesting. That is very interesting. Man, it's almost kind of like a cheat code a little bit.
Yeah. If you do it right, so I was like, that's pretty interesting. So hopefully NFL, what I'll do next week probably is like show a list if they have like certain type of leagues. Like I said, I think a few months before that we discussed the punishments. And this is what I'll bring up, the punishments, and this was hilarious. Let me see if I can find it. Punishment. No, like I said, everybody knows the one me and JT are doing, and that's the it's the singlet. It's the singlet. So whoever at the end of the season loses has the losing record on the matchups, they have to wear a wrestling singlet. Now, if I lose, I'm running a 40-yard dash in it. If he loses, he's already said what he's going to do is he's bowling in it. He has a bowling league, so he'll be bowling his wrestling singlet.
Man, you might have to take a video of that one for me.
Man, I'm doing interview. If I win this, I'm doing a video. I'm taking the day off work just to make sure I see this. And we gonna have a little photo session. Yeah. Well, no, I ain't gonna talk too much about it because it might be me. And I already said if it's me, I'm running a 40-yard dash, but I'm being shape for it. So,
excuse me.
Yeah. So we talked about this before, but here are the actual top 10 fantasy punishments. First was the Waffle House / IHOP challenge. So what that means is that when you go on the actual, you go to an IHOP or Waffle House, you have to stay there for 24 hours.
Ooh.
Now, depending on how many waffles or pancakes you eat, that deducts the hour. That deducts an hour off how long you stay.
Wow.
So when you do, you got to order waffles and stuff like that. And depending on how much you eat, is how many waffles you eat or pancakes you eat, that deducts to stay.
Wow.
The other one is the open mic comedy. So open mic, you have to go and do a stand up. The other one was the stuffed animal date. It's where you take either a stuffed animal or a blow up doll on a date. Either you take them to a movie, you take them to a dinner or something like that. Yeah.
I'm a Walt Disney character. I'm a big Stitch fan, so I'll have to take my boy Stitch with me to the movies.
No. The thing is, the champ chooses.
Oh, for real? Oh man.
Yeah. The champ chooses the date.
Man.
Then you have the lemonade stand, to where you run an actual lemonade stand, and the winnings goes to the winner.
Oh my God. You don't get none of the winnings.
Then there's the milk mile. So what you do, you run a mile, and whatever laps it takes to make a mile each lap, you have to drink a glass of water, a glass of milk. So if your mile's 4 miles, you're doing 4 glasses of water. If you got those, they got the 8. If you got to do 8 miles, if you got to do 8 laps, that's 8 glasses of milk. Then it's the tattoo, to where you know how they lose has to do like a little tattoo or something about them losing. Here's the one that made me laugh: the SAT ACT test. If you lose, well. Yeah, you have to take the ACT test again, or the SAT test. Now, I was thinking about doing this one on. I've been trying to do like a fantasy cruise, to where the winner, other people go on a cruise, stuff like that. And if you lose, you have to be the cruise butler. To where if we want to drink, you got to go get our drinks. You got to get our food. Yeah, all that.
Yeah, I don't think nobody going to be picking that one.
And then you also have the naked embarrassment, to where you run around naked or something like that. And then
go streaking.
Yeah. And then you also have the license plates and bumper stickers, stuff like that.
Okay.
But those were the top 10 fantasy punishments. Like I said, the one we usually do the mile run. And not the mile, we do the 40-yard dash, because we do, everybody like, well, it's for a good cause. So we usually try to do it for a good cause for that. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. So we actually covered the show today. Anything you want to put in?
No, it was a great show, actually.
So we don't let everybody know, once fantasy football does hit, we do have a segment called Bye Felicia. And what that is that this is your time to actually get on a player on your league, to where if they don't straighten up, you send them to the showers. That's their Bye Felicia.
Okay.
So we'll definitely get into that later on through the time. One thing, because I do also have in case they don't, I sent it out to pick, and I had it online. I did have the actual draft order. I don't know if you saw it. So for that first down league, it was you got the 12th spot, unfortunately.
So my last.
Yeah, you got the 12th spot.
Okay, then so I'll be able to get. So hopefully I get a double pick.
JT's right behind you at number 11. Mr. Otis is number 10. JT's wife Sip is number 9. I'm number 8. Bruce Glass is number 7. My buddy Eli is number 6. Sid is number 5. Al is number 4. David, the Truth Earth, is number 3. Pick from First Down podcast is number 2. And I guess Source Vibes, Kobe has the number 1 pick. The draft is going to be Wednesday at I want to say 8 p.m.
Okay.
So let me just make sure.
Okay. I'm gonna do that tonight. Make sure I put my glasses on because you're doing it from the cell phone. It's kind of small. So I was like,
yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
Before we close out, I do want to shout out to check out First Night. I'm sure they're going to be talking about the actual draft order. I'm sure Pick is probably dancing in sunshine because he's seen his pick. I'm sure Al will have a few choice, colorful words about his draft pick from me, him being a Cowboy fan, and say being a Georgia fan. So I'm sure they'll have a few popular words to say about the draft order and how they feel about it. If you get a chance, Ron, definitely check the show out as well. Other than that, with everybody, don't forget to like and subscribe. We do appreciate y'all being on the show with us. Again, if y'all got any questions pertaining to fantasy football, any ideas, definitely hit us up on Facebook or on my Dat Fantasy Show page. And what I'll try to do, if you're not putting them on the show, then I'll put them on the show for you, and we'll bring it up from there.
Gotcha.
All right, y'all. Y'all take it easy. Raise them high, spread them wide. Peace.
Peace.